Hey everyone, welcome back to Tyson Retires, the channel where we make Social Security actually make sense. If you've ever wondered whether you're leaving money on the table with Social Security, today's video might be the most important one you watch all year. We're talking about spousal benefits, current spouse, divorced spouse, a special category called independently entitled divorced spouse benefits, and survivor benefits. I'm calling this video What Every Woman Should Know. That's actually the name of one of the most requested pamphlets the Social Security Administration used to hand out. We'd order thousands of copies a year because so many people had no idea what they qualified for. But don't worry guys, everything in this video applies to you too. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how the 50% rule works, how to claim on an ex-spouse's record even if they haven't filed yet, how survivor benefits can double your check, and a Medicare trick that could save you over $2,000 a year. Let's get into it. Section 1. Current spouse benefits. The 50% rule. Let's start with the basics. Benefits for a spouse you're currently married to. To qualify, two things have to be true. You have to file for your own retirement benefit first. There used to be a strategy called file and suspend that let people get around this, but that loophole closed back in 2016. It's gone. Your own benefit amount has to be less than 50% of your spouse's benefit. Now, here's where almost everyone gets tripped up, and I mean almost everyone. There are two very different numbers on your Social Security statement, and people constantly confuse them. There's your actual monthly check, the amount that shows up in your bank account, which might already be reduced because you filed early. Then there's your PIA, primary insurance amount. This is what you'd receive if you waited all the way to your full retirement age. This is the number Social Security actually uses to calculate the 50% spousal rule, not your reduced check amount. So if you and your spouse compare your actual checks and it looks like you don't qualify for anything extra, don't trust that. You could be looking at the wrong number entirely. Here's what to do instead. Set up an account at ssa.gov and look up your PIA, or just call the SSA directly and ask them to confirm both PIAs on the phone. Quick example. Let's say your PIA is $1,000 a month and your spouse's PIA is $3,000. Half of $3,000 is $1,500. Since your own $1,000 is less than that $1,500 threshold, you're eligible for a top-up, an extra $500 a month on top of your own benefit. But that full 50% only applies if you wait until your own full retirement age. File early, and like every other Social Security benefit, your amount gets permanently reduced. Section 2. Divorced spouse benefits. Now let's talk about divorce, because a huge number of people don't realize they're still entitled to benefits based on an ex's record. The core rule: you had to be married for at least 10 years. There is exactly one exception to that 10-year rule. If you divorce someone, then remarried that same person before the end of the following calendar year, Social Security can combine both marriage periods to reach 10 years. Very few SSA representatives even know this rule exists. So if this applies to you, be prepared to advocate for yourself. What if you've lost touch with your ex and don't have their Social Security number? Doesn't matter. Don't waste time hunting for it before you take action. The golden rule: call first. Protective filing. Before you go digging for a marriage certificate, a divorce decree, or medical records, call the SSA and simply state your intent to file for spousal benefits, divorced spousal benefits, retirement, or disability. This creates what's called a protective filing date. Appointments can be booked out a month or two, but your benefits can be backdated to the day you called, not the day of your actual appointment. That's potentially months of extra back pay you'd otherwise lose. Does it matter if your ex remarried? No relevance whatsoever. If you were married to them for 10 years, you can still claim on their record. They must either already be collecting benefits or be at least 62 years old. Section 3. Independently entitled Divorced Spouse Benefits. This next one is huge, and it's misunderstood constantly, even by SSA staff themselves. Many divorced people are told, you can't collect on your ex's record until they start collecting. That is simply not accurate in every case. Enter independently entitled divorced spouse benefits. Here's what makes you independently entitled. You were married at least 10 years. Your ex is at least 62 years old. Your ex has not yet filed for their own benefits. You must be divorced for at least 2 full years. You must file for benefits on your own record. If all of those boxes are checked, your ex doesn't need to have filed anything. Their choice to delay claiming, whether for extra income or just personal preference, doesn't block you from getting your benefit. And to be clear, your ex will never even know you filed. It has zero effect on their check, their new spouse, or their family. Section 4. Multiple ex-spouses, common law, and divorce decrees. A few more essential details. Multiple exes? No problem. You can have several ex-spouses, each married to you for 10+ years, and each one can independently claim on your record, and it doesn't reduce what any other person receives. It's entirely separate math for each person. Common law marriage counts too, but only if the state you lived in at the time legally recognized common law marriage, and you held yourselves out as husband and wife. Rules vary by state and by era, so this one's worth a direct call to SSA to confirm. What about divorce decrees that say things like, "You waive all rights to my Social Security"? Those clauses are unenforceable. Social Security only checks 3 data points on a marriage certificate: names and date of marriage, and 3 on a divorce decree: names and date of divorce. Nothing else in those documents matters to them, no matter what your ex's lawyer tried to sneak in. One more powerful rule. If you were eligible for benefits on an earlier spouse's record, remarrying and divorcing again doesn't erase that eligibility. You can go back and claim on any past qualifying marriage, and you're even allowed to switch between exes later in life as circumstances change, such as when one of them passes away and their benefit converts to a higher survivor amount. Section 5. Survivor Spouse Benefits. This is where the numbers can get life-changing, so listen closely. The marriage length requirement for survivor benefits is only 9 months, not 10 years, as long as you were still married when your spouse passed away. There are 2 exceptions that waive even the 9-month rule: an accidental death or if your spouse was active-duty military. How much can you get? Up to 100% of your late spouse's benefit, but only if you wait until your own full retirement age to claim it. Claim earlier and you'll get a reduced percentage, as low as around 71.5% at the earliest age. Earliest ages to remember: regular spousal or divorced spousal benefits, age 62. Survivor benefits, age 60. Disabled widower benefits, DWIB, age 50 if you are yourself disabled. If you're disabled and between 50 and 59, don't wait until 60, you may already qualify. Automatic conversion. If you're already collecting spousal benefits and your spouse passes away, your check automatically converts to a survivor benefit once you reach full retirement age. Strategic tip. You often have a choice. Start survivor benefits now while letting your own retirement benefit keep growing up to age 70, or start your own benefit while your future survivor benefit sits and grows until your full retirement age. Which order makes sense depends entirely on your specific numbers, so this is worth running by an advisor or the SSA directly. Section 6. Medicare and delayed retirement credits. 2 more things almost nobody talks about. Medicare through a spouse. If you don't personally have the 10 years of work history needed for Medicare, you can still qualify through a current spouse, divorced spouse, independently entitled divorced spouse, or even a deceased spouse. Money-saving tip. If you have creditable health coverage through active current employment, yours or your spouse's, at a company with 20 or more employees, you can skip Medicare Part B without penalty and avoid paying that monthly premium unnecessarily. Once that employment coverage ends, you get a special enrollment period to sign up for Medicare penalty-free, no matter how many years have passed. Delayed retirement credits, DRCs. If someone waits past their full retirement age to claim, up to age 70, their benefit grows roughly 8% per year, up to about 24% total. Here's the catch. A current spouse never receives those delayed credits while their spouse is alive. You only inherit those extra delayed retirement credits as a survivor, after your spouse has passed away. So don't be surprised if your spouse's check looks much bigger than what you'd get from it today. That growth only transfers to you as a widow or widower. Section 7. The 6-month check-in strategy. If you're not in touch with an ex and don't know their status, here's a simple habit. Call the SSA roughly every 6 months and ask whether you're now eligible, either because their benefit amount changed or because they've since passed away and you'd move from the 50% category into the 100% survivor category. Circumstances change, and so does your eligibility. Don't assume a no today means no forever. /call to action. That's the full rundown of spousal, divorce spousal, independently entitled divorce spousal, and survivor benefits. If this helped you understand even one thing you didn't know before, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to Tyson Retires, and share this with someone who might be missing out on money they've genuinely earned. Drop your questions in the comments, I read every single one, and I'll answer as many as I can in our next live Q&A. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.